Había una vez en la ciudad de Cortnamalari, había 4 chicas. Tuvieron que hacer un proyecto de los mandatos en español. Este es su cuento.
So guys, what did you think about that Spanish commands test?
You mean the one I didn't remember anything about?
You mean the one I failed?
Yeah, that one. The only thing I remembered was that it's used in the now tense.
I didn't know that. It sucked.
Too bad we don't know more about it.
Well, there is this magical, mysterious voice that tells us everything we need to know.
Drop the S from the regular conjugated to form of the verb. Hablas, you speak, becomes habla, speak. Comes, you eat, becomes coma, eat. Vives, you live, becomes vive, live.
Is that all?
No, I think there's a negative form.
Magical, mysterious voice.
Take the conjugated present tense yo form of the verb, drop the O ending, add es for AR verbs to the stem, add as for ER verbs to the stem. Habla, speak, becomes no hables, don't speak. Come, eat, becomes no comas, don't eat. Vive, live, becomes no viva, don't live.
Is there anything weird we should know?
When preceding an E, C becomes QU, G becomes GU, and Z becomes C. No tocas el piano, you don't play the piano, becomes no toques el piano, don't play the piano. The verb tocar, to play, in a negative command becomes toses, but because the C sounds like an S, we have to change it to a QU so the hard K sound stays in the word.
Now do we know everything?
No, I think there's some irregulars.
Oh, bloody hell.
What?
Decir, to tell, becomes D in the affirmative form, and no digas in the negative form. Hacer, to do, becomes as, and no hagas. Ser, to be, becomes se, and no seas. Ir, to go, becomes ve, and no vayas. Tener, to have, becomes ten, and no tengas. Poner, to put, becomes pon, and no pongas. Salir, to leave, becomes sal, and no salgas. A quick little way to help you remember these is the saying, Dee has 7 to 10 ponies in her salon.
Time to review.
Pon el perro allí!
No digas nada.
No saltes en la sofa.
Canta.
Don't we have to use writ order pronouns?
Yeah, I think we do.
Oh, bloody hell.
Seriously?
For an affirmative command, the object pronoun will be attached directly to the verb. For example, estudia plus lo equals estudialo, study it. Deja plus me equals déjame, leave me. And déjame en paz means leave me alone.
Remember, the accent goes on the second to last syllable before the object pronoun.
And now for the negatives.
The object pronouns follow writ order in between the no and the verb, like this. No me mires, don't look at me. No se lo digas, don't tell it to him.
Ahora que todas las chicas comprenden las formas de tu mandatos, pasan el tiempo en la ciudad.
I'm so happy we know 2 commands.
Me too.
Now we can boss everyone around.
Yeah.
No Perez!
What did you say to me?
No Perez, don't stop.
Do you know who I am?
No.
You can't use the 2 commands with me.
We can't?
No, you have to use the instead form.
Oh! Magical, mysterious voice, can you help us?
Take the conjugated present tense yo form of the verb. Drop the O ending. For AR verbs, put an E on the end of the conjugated yo stem. For ER and IR verbs, put an A on the end of the conjugated yo stem. Hablar becomes hable, comer becomes coma, and vivir becomes viva.
Wow, that's easy.
I bet there's some irregulars.
Dang it!
Ir becomes vaya, saber becomes sepa, ser becomes seya, and irse becomes vayase.
What about the ustedes?
Your studies form is even easier.
How?
Add an N to the end of the usted form of the command. Hable becomes hablen, coma becomes coman, viva becomes vivan. This is true for all verbs, regular, irregular, and negative. Vaya becomes vayan, sepa becomes sepan, seya becomes seyan, and vayase becomes vayanse.
So easy. But what about the negative form?
Guess what?
What?
You already know the negative form.
We do?
It's the same as the affirmative command.
Awesome!
All you do is add a no.
Let's review.
Hey guys, can I swing with you?
Váyase.
No, Sate! No! Corin!
Ahora que las chicas saben las formas de tú, usted y ustedes de los mandatos, viajan a el parque para aprender el nosotros forma de mandatos.
I'm so glad we learned the two ustedes and usted form.
Me too, I just wish we knew more.
Did you just say you wanted to know more about commands?
I did.
So do I.
Magical, mysterious voice. Now for the nosotros form.
Take the conjugated present tense yo form of the verb, remove the o or oi. For AR verbs, add emos. For ER/IR verbs, add amos. Hablar becomes hablemos. Comer becomes comamos. Escribir becomes escribamos. These will translate into let's statements.
Any spelling changes?
Only IR verbs will have spelling changes. Every other verb stays the same. O to UE becomes you. Dormir, dormamos. E to IE becomes I. Mentir, mintamos. E to I becomes I. Pedir, pidamos. CAR to C becomes QU. Tocar, toquemos. GAR to G becomes GU. Pegar, paguemos. ZAR to Z becomes C. Comenzar, comencemos. With reflexive verbs, drop the S from the conjugated verb before adding the nosotros endings. Otherwise, add all object pronouns directly to the conjugated nosotros command. Levantemos and nos become levantémonos, let's stand up. Sentemos and nos become sentémonos, let's sit down. Acostemos and nos become acostémonos, let's go to bed.
There's so many rules.
But for the negatives, all you do is add a no.
Wow, any irregulars?
Ir becomes vamos and no vayamos. Irse becomes vámonos and no nos vayamos. Saber becomes sepamos and no sepamos. Ser becomes seamos and no seamos.
Let's review.
Hablemos.
Juguemos.
No trabajemos.
That's it.
Las chicas saben nosotros, usted, ustedes y tú formas de mandatos, pero hay una forma más.
Ah, there's still one more form? What is it?
It's the vosotros form.
Drop the R from the infinitive and add a D for all regular affirmative verbs, except reflexives. Hablar becomes hablad, comer becomes comed, and vivir becomes vivid. With reflexive verbs, no D is added, but instead os is added directly to the stem. Levantaos, stand up. Acostaos, go to bed. For negative commands, add ace for AR verbs and ice for ER/IR verbs. No habléis, don't speak. No comáis, don't eat. And no viváis, don't live. Negative vosotros commands of ir, saber, and ser mirror usted commands. Ir becomes no veáis, saber becomes no sepáis, and ser becomes no seáis. The vosotros negative IR verbs change a little. The E or O change to I or you respectively. Pedir becomes no pidáis, dormir becomes no dormais, servir becomes no servais, and morir becomes no morais.